What is going on, guys, and welcome to ForTheFans with me, Jack, and my co-host Ben. In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at all of yesterday's World Cup action, as there was pain for Spain and Chile were just too hot to handle. In other news, we're also going to have a look forward to today's England game, as well as all the remaining Group C fixtures coming your way today. Let's get straight into this.
Hi Jack, it's me Ben, and welcome to ForTheFans.
Hi Ben. We're a bit lonely today. I feel like we haven't got a guest today, guys. Let's just throw it straight out there. We're kind of just sat on our own, and I feel like part of me's gone without a guest.
It's not the same, is it?
No.
I feel like we're gonna have to talk the whole time, just me and you. The pressure's on.
If you don't like our voices, guys, we're sorry.
Yeah, this isn't the podcast for you. We'll crack straight in though. You know, we go on regardless. It's a big day of football, but let's look back at yesterday.
I thought you were going to ask me what I did. I was like, this is my moment for him to ask about me. But no, let's crack into it. And we'll crack on with the Battle of the Seas. I know you're excited about this one.
How could you not be excited about this one? Croatia v Cameroon. And Cameroon showed what they were made of. Inadequate defending and poor discipline.
I think it was just inadequacy everywhere, as opposed to just defending, if we're really honest.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about Croatia?
Croatia were bloody brilliant.
Did you expect them to be that good?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
but when we come on to it, Spain, you'd expect them to bounce back against Chile, and that wasn't the case. And I think for Croatia, obviously, very different situation to the Spain one. But they played well. They did their job. They played and stuck to the game plan that they had. Alex Song certainly didn't stick to his game plan. And 4-0 was a fair reflection of what was a very, very dominant Croatia display.
Yeah, so Olic gave him the lead, tapping in. First goal in 12 years, says the commentary team. So I was like, all right, good. Nice little factoid. I'm sure you've written that one down.
I have, actually.
To put Croatia firmly in the lead. And then as Croatia are on the attack later in the game, Alex Song decides that the best way to attack a fellow professional is by pulling his hand back and then thrusting his elbow into his back. I've done the action. I don't know if you're doing it at home. Jack, do the action.
I'm doing it now.
It's not a very natural thing to do, especially on the run. Like, it's a bit...
Was it an elbow? To me, it looked like is it a donkey punch, or like you hit with the base of your hand?
No, it was definitely like elbow first.
It just looked really uncomfortable. It looked like something out of Street Fighter, like some weird technique.
He's been taught. He's obviously been to classes and he's been taught to fight. And then as he got on the pitch, he was like, "Oh, I've forgotten everything. Oh, I forgot it all. Okay, I'll do that. Oh no. Oh, that looked really stupid. Oh my God, the ref's seen it. Okay, well, I've disgraced my nation and myself. Goodbye, everyone."
Have you not been to the Mandzukic Takedown Academy? That's how they teach you to do it. It's quite effective.
Of all the Croatian players, I bet the Mandzukic Takedown Academy is the one to go to. I wouldn't go to Modric's martial arts. Let's put it that way.
It was just really bizarre because the ref was next to him. It was just like, it was nothing. Mandzukic just kind of swerves in front of him. It's like if you were driving down the road and you're Alex Song, a guy cuts out in front of you. You don't just drive into the back of him.
No, you don't. So at that point, Croatia were leading, but Cameroon went out of it. So at 1-0, you're thinking, okay, well, now they've screwed themselves because we saw what they did against Mexico. They were piss poor.
Yeah.
So Perisic then goes on a lovely little run. I tell you, I never thought he was going to stop. And how often do you see players? Robin's done it a few times this tournament and been successful, but run all the way down the length of the pitch, get to the end, and completely cock up the decision.
Yeah,
but not Perisic. Slided.
He knew what he wanted to do, didn't he? It was a great assist by the Cameroon goalkeeper. This is something I pointed out on Twitter. There's just something about Africans and not having very good goalkeepers. Like the African teams, like whenever I watch them in goal, they just look nervous. They looked like they were kind of the guy who couldn't kick the ball, who was probably previously the physiotherapist. And they're kind of
very athletic. They're all their reflexes are always very good on Football Manager.
They're like cats, aren't they? But they're like cats, but cats can't catch. So they are definitely like cats. They've got the reflexes, just nothing else really.
They're like cats, but cats can't catch. Put that in some sort of montage for me, folks, on Jack's quotes of the World Cup. So then it was over to Mandzukic. He scored possibly one of the easiest doubles I've ever seen. One was like a bit of a rebound, one was from not far out. His first appearance in the World Cup for Croatia, I think.
Yeah, he was suspended.
This tournament anyway. So yeah, I'm sure he was pleased with that. Comes on, does a little celebration, enjoying life. That then led to Cameroon having a little fight. It wasn't a good day, was it?
It was like watching a schoolboy team, wasn't it? Or like a Sunday league team. Like, one's gone off punching another guy, and then two of them have just had enough.
Well, the thing that annoys me about that, one it's Asuakoto, which is enough to annoy me anyway. But the fact that they're doing it when they're 4-0 down, do that when you're like 1-0 down to Mexico, and you actually need to fight. Not when you're 4-0 down to Croatia in the second game, which means you're out, basically. Cameroon, you're gone.
Well,
you've been hit.
It was just mental, wasn't it? Because Asuakoto just headbutts his teammate. I'm like, well, he's gone to the Pepe Takedown Academy. He knows what he's doing there with that headbutt. That was a proper headbutt. It wasn't even like a little like push into his face. It was like I'm going to screw you up. And then even after the game, there was footage of him kind of wanting to have a bit of a fight. I can't remember who the other player was now for Cameroon who was on the receiving end, and he just had Samuel Eto'o stood there trying to calm him down. It was like a hostage situation with Asuakoto, and he's like hugging him like, it's okay, mate, it's going to be okay.
So Croatia looked really good. Like, we're obviously something against Brazil. A lot of people thought they were quite unlucky, but they looked really good against Cameroon. So the shootout between them and Mexico, obviously Croatia will have to win the game. Mexico can come away with a draw and still qualify after their brilliant result against Brazil. So I cannot wait. That's in a few days' time. Croatia versus Mexico. I'm sure we'll be talking about that nearer the time. But that's that group done with for now. There's 2 games going in that group. We'll move on to the Australia, Holland, Chile, Spain group, and we'll start with Australia versus Holland. I was panicking, Jack.
You were panicking, and can we start off by saying we were very horrible to Australia yesterday, Ben? I think you predicted 9-0 and I predicted 6.
Well, did they win, Jack?
No, but they put up a blooming good fight, Australia. Someone in the chat was like, you're not going to give Australia any credit. I will give credit where credit is due. And yesterday, Australia matched Holland. Best stat of the night. Both teams had exactly 336 passes.
Did they?
So Australia can pass as well as Holland.
Well, yeah, and they got an iffy penalty. But Robin was on form again early in the game. I did think, oh, well, you know what, my 9-0's not looking so ridiculous, as Robin burst through. While I'm celebrating the Robin goal, lovely finish, by the way, by Robin, the ball's up the other end, and Cahill has struck what I can only consider to be the goal of the tournament so far. On
his weaker foot as well. I'm just sat there, like, in awe. I'm thinking at 1-0, oh gosh, the floodgates are opened, and then Cahill's just like, no! Step aside. Yeah. On his weaker foot, it's so hard to watch that ball coming over. He had the sun in his eyes, and he just lets it fall onto his foot. And I hate to quote my favourite commentator, but it was a Bernini sculpture of a goal off the crossbar.
Pablo. Right, well, no, do you know what? I'm not like a massive Australian fan. Oh, actually, that's not true. I quite like Australia. I just don't think their football team is very good. But that goal, I did a little jump. I was like, oh, that was quite impressive.
Yeah.
But I did think to myself, that won't be happening again. And then, into the second half, the Aussies get a penalty, Jack. And I'm at that point...
It wasn't a penalty. I don't think it was.
Just to clarify, for those who haven't been keeping up with the ongoing Australia tale that I've got, I said in the preview show and pre-tournament and whatnot that Australia won't be getting a point in this tournament. At 2-1 up against Holland, and I've said if they do get a point, I'll do anything. I'm thinking... on Twitter, I wrote... what did I write? I wrote something along the lines of...
I'm turning off. I can't do it.
I'll turn off if Australia get another one. To which I then had to write, oh, fuck off. Sorry about the language, Mrs. Jack. Because I know your mum's not a fan of my...
She's not. Mrs. Jack. Great name.
At that point, I'm just quoting myself, Mrs. Jack. So, yeah, I don't know what her name is. So Mrs. Jack will have to do. At that point, I'm thinking, oh, no, this is not good. This is not good. And then you tweet out on the ForTheFans account, what can we get him to do? I'm like, oh, no.
At For the Shitban Show on Twitter.
Here it is. And then they scored the penalty. So Jedinak, the Crystal Palace player, knocks it in. But it didn't last very long, did it, Jack?
It didn't, and I was quite upset. I've got to be honest. I look at the stats of this game, and it was so 50-50, but I still feel like the Netherlands deserved to win.
Good.
I think they were the better team, but as you mentioned, Van Persie and then I think it was Depay with the last goal. It was a keeping mistake, it's fair to say. Keeper parrying it into the corner of his net, but Australia could still get a point against Spain. Given Spain's form, if they can perform like that, Australia had more passes in the final third than Holland.
Oh, dear. And as you tell me so often, Australia have never lost to Spain.
Australia have never lost to Spain in their history. Granted, they've never met, but they've never lost. They've got a record.
So the result of that game means that Holland are through to the last 16. The Australians are out, and we can all carry on with our lives. And hopefully Spain can just win a game. Spain, I've never wanted you to win more than next week. So.
The thing is, for most people, the game that's Australia v Spain, it means nothing because both other teams are already through. It means everything to me, this game. This is my World Cup final right now. You should see, Ben, I've got a little mind map on my wall of stuff I can make Ben do.
I bet you have. So it's time to talk about it, folks. We all witnessed it. I said on Twitter, it will be spoken about for years and years and years to come. And we watched it live. Chile 2, the world champions, European champions, and best team in the world for the past
and all-round good guys.
And all-round good guys. Spain, 0. Wow, is what I've written down on the notes.
Is that all we've got for the... we have actually got... I was thinking, wow, we're just it, and we're just going to...
I think it's the biggest shock in World Cup history, and I'm sure some people will say, well, no, Ben, because teams have won the World Cup, and then they've been knocked out in the group stages before. Look at France in the past. Italy did it recently as well. But no team has won 3 international tournaments on the bounce to then be knocked out 7-1 on aggregate in their first 2 group games to not advance to the last 16 of the tournament. Unbelievable. Spain obviously made changes. Xavi and Piqué were dropped. Javi Martinez and Pedro came in because that was obviously going to fix the issues. Jack, take over.
I think the big mistake for me was not dropping Casillas, and I know that first goal goes in and it's not entirely his fault, but that second goal that they concede, that punch...
Tell you what, they're coming for you, Jack.
They are coming. That's the Spaniards. They've heard that I'm bad-mouthing Casillas. They're crown and joy. Well, let's just let it pass. Bloody hell.
Wow, what have you done?
I don't know.
Crimes against broadcasting. Maybe it's your mum going, where is he? Where is he? I heard him swear. Where is he?
So I think it's over.
Right, it's leaving.
Excellent news.
So did you think Spain... Well, look, before the game, we both said that we thought Spain would win because they're Spain, right? It was like an obvious thing to predict. Not the way Chile played. Chile were excellent. They're so good.
I kind of feel like we shouldn't do predictions because this World Cup has just been full of so many odd results. I don't think we've got one right since I got the 3-1 on the first day.
Yeah, but that was good. I don't know. Do you know what? I've not been keeping up with the Psychic Turtle. Maybe I should get on that for tomorrow's show.
He's dead by now. They've turned him into stew after this mistake.
You can't say things like that.
I just have.
No, even if he has died, there's a giraffe which is doing the job. There's an elephant. Honestly, there was a
camel. There was a camel that was getting a lot of attention on YouTube. He got one wrong. He's dead now.
Is that camel actually dead? Because I did see a picture of a camel on the floor. Is that the same camel?
No, that was him. He's since his rise to fame and descent, he's now gone off on a bender and just got really drunk.
He'll be in rehab.
That's why he was on the floor.
He'll be in rehab with Spain. No, but do you know what I think? That I want to talk about the Spain game quite a lot because I think
I agree.
There's a lot of key issues with the way Spain play. The biggest one for me this tournament, and it was so evident against Holland and it was evident against Chile because they're so predictable. That is crazy to say, but you know exactly what they're going to do. Yeah. And a team to stop that, put 4 men in front, they put 4 men behind, and say, go on then, have a go. And if they can't, well, actually, Chile play more of like a 5. And if they can't break it down, they have no other plan. You're asking Jordi Alba on the left-hand side to cross balls in to Diego Costa. When does he ever do that for Barcelona?
Yeah, I think my big gripe, and I kind of jokingly put on the ForTheFans Twitter, kind of RIP Tiki-Taka. Now, I'm not actually talking about Tiki-Taka actually dying, but it needs to evolve. There has to be, in 2008, it was kind of this new idea that you can keep the ball, you can play this fast passing play, you don't need a striker, control the ball, control the tempo, craft out chances. 6 years on, it's been figured out. And I feel as if Spain knew that coming into this tournament, and that's why they were playing Diego Costa. They knew they needed to try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they've adapted to that changing style, because half the team still want to knock it around on the deck. Then you've got Diego Costa. He's kind of like the big tall guy in your park football team. He's just shouting for it all the time. He just wasn't getting it. He didn't have a shot in over 120 minutes of World Cup football that he played, which sums it all up. And I just feel as well, like, Spain just lacked any energy.
Yeah.
In terms of just a player. You mentioned Jesus Navas before the tournament even began. Just Navas, just some pace would have done it out wide, and they didn't have that. I know they had Pedro who offers that, but David Silva's not a really fast player. And Chile, their wing-backs had a field day. They had so much pace, they had so much energy about them, and it would have been so easy, given how Chile sat up, for their wing-backs not to push on, for them to sit against Spain. But there were times when they were in, the two highest men up the field. It was amazing, and that kind of level of energy, just pressure that Chile applied, and they just wanted it more. It was a really odd kind of situation where it kind of, to me, it felt like the Spanish players didn't feel comfortable trying to play the football that they were playing.
Yeah, you mentioned how they can evolve tiki-taka, and I was going to come on to say about Jesus Navas that we spoke about. Well, I certainly spoke about it pre-tournament, that you need a player like Navas to break. It's all well and good Spain having the ball, setting up to then slip through a pass, but as you mentioned, Diego Costa is not the sort of player that's going to be alive enough, frankly, to suddenly be nipping onto the end of balls. And it's a good example because it happens for them every single time they play. Messi does it for Barcelona, and Spain really miss a Messi. They really miss someone who can change a game. Iniesta is arguably their bright spark in attacking positions. Every time he got the ball and was running with it, 4 men. It happened about 6 or 7 times. 4 men round him, and he loses the ball, and then he's just like, what can I do? And then he's making daft little tackles when he loses it, and it's just like, this is not the Iniesta we are used to seeing. This is a World Cup winning Iniesta.
Well, it's like I said to you about, we talked about this during the England situation about Barkley, what I thought Barkley offered. I talked about that ability to beat a man in the centre, to really throw off a team shape. You look at teams like Argentina, Messi does that a lot. He'll run at players, he'll ruin a defence's shape and open up opportunities for players around him. Neymar does it when he plays for Brazil. He hasn't showed it 100% this tournament, but that's what he's capable of. And I look at that Spain side, and there is not a player in the centre of the park for them who I think you could carry the ball into the final third or run at a team and open up opportunities. I feel as if the way that Spain have played in the past relied on teams basically to get tired out, relied on them to chase the ball in order to kind of lose shape, lose their legs, and then that opened up opportunities. And teams are just learning to be more disciplined.
Yeah, exactly that. People don't chase it anymore, they'd sit and wait. And they kind of challenge Spain and say, we know what you're going to do, now do it. It's taken, I don't think it's that people have started to work out tiki-taka, because it's not really that sort of thing. It's just that Spain become blunt when their target man is literally a target man. And it's not the way they've played for the part. I find it really weird that Del Bosque has said, I know we've got Fabregas who can do the job and made sure we won the tournament last time out because he played as like a false 9. But what we're going to do now is we're going to play a little bit more English, and we're going to play with a big man up top and trying to filter everything through him, despite the fact he's never really played for this national team. I find it incredibly naive from Del Bosque, and I'm sure his job is on the line despite all the success. Because this is a huge failure. This is one of the, as I mentioned, this is one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history. This is arguably the biggest failure of Del Bosque's career, and will be the biggest failure of Del Bosque's career. On a lighter note, Danny Murphy was good, wasn't he?
He's brilliant. I've been ranting a lot about the co-commentators on BBC and ITV, but Phil Neville, Mark Lawrenson, and Robbie Savage, they don't cut the mustard for me. Danny Murphy, get Danny Murphy on for every game if you're listening. Get him on.
I really liked him. I actually think he adds. I don't feel patronised, which I feel is really important. Two things I don't want to be when I'm watching a football match. I don't want to be bored, and I don't want to be patronised because they think I don't know what I'm talking about.
And I don't want someone who's going to whinge about the referee.
No, and all Murphy did was just pick up on little things and then let his more professional co-commentator, who does the job week in, week out, just talk about the game. And then every now and then Murphy would come in, say something which you thought, that's a really good point, I'm going to look out for that. And I don't want someone to be talking the whole time. I just want Murphy to come in, slag off Xabi Alonso and Casillas, although Xabi Alonso is my hero, but even so, he had a really poor game. He even mentioned that he could have caught the ball that Casillas punched, which was crazy.
I think my favourite bit was the bit where the player got his injury. It was the Chile lad, and Danny Murphy's there. He goes into physio mode. He's like, oh, that's his ligaments. And he names this really specific ligament. And everyone's just sat there like, how does he know this? He's like, oh, I had it done to me once. But I'm sat there like, oh, they just got a fit. Has he got like a medical handbook? And he's like, oh, what's the physio doing? Oh, he's stretching out that. Yeah, it's this one.
I know what it is, Jack. He's very good friends with Michael Owen.
I was half expecting him to run onto the pitch and start giving his own diagnosis.
Him and Mickey Owen are good friends. I imagine Michael Owen has spent hours on the phone telling Murphy, saying, well, Danny, I've had a hamstring injury today and it's not good. I don't know what legs and but etc. And Murphy's just like, okay, all right, tell me more, Michael, tell me more. Like a doctor.
Can I ask you, because you mentioned Danny Murphy said it, could you have caught that ball that Casillas punched?
Yeah.
I could have too.
Yeah. I think most people could, apart from a cat.
I think a cat might have got to that one.
Nah, cats can't catch. You said it already. I want to focus a little bit on Chile though, because as we kind of touched upon, they were great. Vidal, Sanchez, Vargas. Although they are their standout main men, they ran the show. And Gary Medel at the back came under a little bit of stick for the header he conceded against Tim Cahill, but against Diego Costa, who should arguably be a lot more of a challenge, just looked like he'd done that job for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Chile played unbelievably well. They were so disciplined in their shape. I actually really like the way they set up. I know a lot of teams are kind of set up in a similar way, but the manner in which they were so disciplined in how they played, I feel as if they had the freedom going forward. But what they did such a good job of was standing off Spain, going, you know what, you can have it at the edge of our final third. You can pass it around if you want. But as soon as you pull up, we are going to hit you on the break. And I feel as if Chile knew going into that game, Spain, they can have a load of the ball, but we have faster players on the break. We want it more. And their wing-backs are superb. I've already touched upon that. I thought Vidal in the centre, considering he was a fitness doubt before this World Cup, he had a stormer of a game. I know he went off right at the end. Vargas had a really good game. Sanchez again. I think, for me, Spain, and this came across in the Holland game as well, they were playing too higher a line.
Yeah. And especially for the players they've got at the back, who aren't particularly... Like, Ramos isn't slow.
But he's not going to keep up with Sanchez in a 40-yard race.
Exactly. And Robin proved that as well.
It's kind of... For me, the problem with Spain was they were playing so slowly that the defenders just kind of wander up to the halfway line, and then suddenly the ball comes really fast at them and they're just not ready for it. Yeah,
a lot of Spain's game is about control. So Azpilicueta and Alba push up into those high positions, give the team width, but then they're not there, and you've got Busquets, Javi Martinez and Ramos, as it was yesterday, against Sanchez and Vargas, who are pace wizards, to put it one way. They are, like, I don't know what they expected. Teams are always going to do that to Spain if they continue to try and play really controlled, fluid football. Teams are going to go, well, we'll just hit on the break.
Yeah.
So,
I think
it's the end of an era, Jack.
I think one of Spain's big weaknesses was actually Sergio Busquets, and he's been a superb player for them. And I think yesterday he made one tackle all game. And I know Chile didn't have the ball a lot, but he has been a frequent part of that Spain team in breaking down the play. Him and Alonso, but I kind of feel more so Busquets. And
Alonso had a poor game yesterday.
Yeah.
We shouldn't gloss over that.
No, but I feel for me Busquets has just had a pretty poor tournament. I think he made 2 interceptions. He didn't win an aerial battle that he was in yesterday.
He's got all the stats, hasn't he?
I have got all the stats, but that was just for me. For me, Spain... The way they were attacking left them so exposed at the back, and you could see it waiting to happen, really.
Yeah. So it is, as I mentioned a minute ago, it is the end of an era. Spain will no longer be able to play in that way because it's not worked. They may try again. They might come again. It'd be nice to see players like Koke coming to the squad now. You've got people like Isco. De Gea might be the keeper for Spain for the next 15 years. You just don't know, do you? But I think radical change is going to be asked for in Spain, and they've got
to evolve their style of play, because right now, I don't want to say it's figured out, but teams have learnt how to deal with it.
Yeah,
and that was all too apparent.
So we'll move on to the Twitter question, which is Spain related. Now, because of what might happen later on in the show, I'm not able to look at Twitter, Jack. So can you handle the Twitter question?
I can handle. So yeah, we got this.
So the question was: with Spain out of the World Cup, who would you like to see take over as their manager to guarantee success in the 2016 Euros? # don't say Pep, because it's too obvious. So what did people say? People
were very serious about this one. We got a few not so serious ones, but firstly, with the serious ones, someone suggested. James suggested Tim Sherwood. Too serious for me. Far too serious. Nathan Jones with a slightly silly suggestion. Roberto Martinez. A few people suggested Martinez.
Yeah, daft. Why would he take it?
Silly. Butte Mitchell said time for Spain to park the bus, get Mourinho in.
Yeah.
I don't see him going there, but maybe parking the bus would get them results. Someone said Jonathan Pearce, Davidinho. I'm all for Jonathan Pearce going in. He'd love it. He might be a bit confused by if the ball goes in or not half the time.
Yeah, that'd be the only issue. Aside from that, I can't see a problem.
And then, last but not least, The German. That's actually his Twitter handle, rather than me being racist, and his name is just German. He says Moyes in.
Well, he's free. He's available.
He is exactly. Do I get to give my suggestion here?
Yeah, sure.
I think the best leader Spain need right now is Putin, because by the time of the Euros, he would have taken over the whole of Europe, so it'll only be them left in the tournament.
Oh, that's a very clever suggestion.
Thanks. Thought about that one for 5 minutes.
Really? I'd like to just see the King of Spain take over.
Just give him the crown.
Just give him the job. Why not? Yeah, very good. Leave me to the jokes. So yeah, if you want to get involved in the Twitter question, around midday every day, I ask the question on Twitter, and you answer in the comments section on the YouTube channel. What do you think Spain need to do from now on? I want to hear what people have got to say in the comments section on Twitter.
And if you're listening on iTunes, tweet it at us, along with keeping an eye out for the questions. Or if you're just watching the football and you want someone to moan at us at ForTheFans Show. Right, yes. Ben, shall we move forward to today's action? I feel like we've talked about Spain in detail. That we could talk about them for hours and like what could change, what needs changing. But I think everyone is in agreement that they just need to. I don't know what they need to do. They just need to change. They need to change a lot of stuff. They need to evolve.
They're like a girlfriend that is still on the drugs, and it's like you need to change. I don't know where I'm going.
You need to change. You want to love them.
Colombia versus Ivory Coast,
for what they used to be.
Right, get off Spain. Colombia versus Ivory Coast is the first game of the day. It's going to be a great game.
Right, what is the best result here for Japan to qualify? Is it a draw or for one of them to lose? I think it's an Ivory Coast win is best, because then if Japan win... Right, so Ivory Coast are going to win this. And
okay.
No, this game could actually be a really close one. It's going to be a tentative affair, I feel. Both teams obviously coming off the back of a win in their first game. The winners, knowing that if they get a win, they'll be through to the next stage. Colombia have Guarín back from suspension, so he may well play. I think they're naming or could name the same side. I think that's been hinted at that they played against Greece. And I don't know about you, but I was very impressed by a professional display by Colombia, because the Greeks, whilst they weren't particularly menacing or threatening, Colombia did the job, and they did it very well. It was a very professional performance. Yeah,
Colombia are a really strong, really intelligent side, as well as being immensely physical. I think Guarín probably will come back in because they'll want to play him in future games. He may just do what Fidel did for Chile, actually, play 60 and then start the next game against Japan when he really needs to hammer home the beating on the Japanese. For Ivory Coast, it's, it's a little bit different. Drogba may start.
I'd like to see him start.
But that will mean either a change of system, where they'll play two up top, they'll play Drogba and Boney, or it'll mean that he'll replace Boney. So what would you prefer to see them do? Obviously, you want them to win, so this is in your hands, really.
Two up top. I think when they did it against Japan, it really changed the games. I feel as if Drogba, whilst he didn't have a massive impact on the game as kind of an individual in terms of contributing towards play, just his presence, that extra man up top, really threw off Japan. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion he probably will just replace Boney. I feel as if against Colombia, Ivory Coast are probably going to play a little bit more conservatively, perhaps even play for a draw, given the fact that it would probably be enough, depending on the result in the Japan game.
Yeah, I'd quite like to. I'm looking. If Guarín does play, I'm looking forward to see him versus Yaya Touré. That'll be quite the battle. I'll enjoy that. And the winner of the game, if a team does win, will advance to the last 16 to join such teams as the Dutch and Chile. Now we'll talk about your boys, shall we?
My boys, the Blue Samurais.
Obviously, they're coming off the defeat to Ivory Coast. How are they going to bounce back?
They are. It's not a case of how. They are. There is no question about it. I've got faith in them. They're going to shut down Samaras. Honda's going to be in cruise control. I thought about that one for 2 minutes there. That was a good one.
Oh, that's good.
And no, I feel as if Japan are going to win this, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly convincing kind of game. I guess at 2-0. I feel as if Greece will probably go a little bit more at this game. Both teams obviously playing for their tournament life, so they've got to go for it.
Indeed. I want the Greeks to just do something. I just get bored watching them. Japan are quite exciting going forward, so I do. I hate to jump on your side here, because I still think Ivory Coast and Colombia will go through, but I'd quite like to see Japan really show on an international stage how good their attacking talent is.
Oh, he's jumping boat now.
No. I'd like Japan. Okay, I'd like a 3-3. I'd like them to be pathetic defensively, but go at Greece like no tomorrow, and then Samaras hat-trick makes it difficult for Japan.
I really hope Yasuhito Endo gets a call up. I think he's got 145 caps for Japan. Yeah. I want he's most cap player, and he came on off the bench, and he was pretty sharp, and I kind of hope that he might get a chance here to play for Japan. But I think the big thing for them last game was the fact that they played a 4-5-1. And we talked a little bit about how they kind of have that abundance of attacking talent, but it was very much it was a 4-5-1 with Honda maybe sat slightly ahead of the four in midfield. I feel as if in this game they're probably more likely to line up in a kind of 4-2-3-1 with a little bit more ambition coming from the midfield, with maybe Kagawa, Endo and Honda playing. It might even be a case of what's his name? He plays in Germany, the other centre attacking mid. Kiyotake may even come into the lineup there if they were going to try something like that. Right. But no, I feel as if Japan are going to be a little bit more offensive. I think I can still see the Greeks playing defensive because that's how they like to play. They're the kind of team that grind out results and will really kind of frustrate a side and then hit on the break. But I feel as if Greece want to get something from this game, they've got to show a little bit more of a presence up top. I feel as if their strikers were particularly unconvincing against Colombia, but perhaps Japan not providing so much of a test.
Yeah, so you're going Japan?
Yeah, 2-0.
All right, I'll say 2-1.
Did we give predictions for the previous game? I don't feel
you said Ivory Coast will win, so how much are they winning by?
3-1.
All right, I think it'll be a Colombia 2-0.
Oh, controversial.
England versus Uruguay. I actually don't want to go on this too much. Like we've chatted a lot about Spain. We've done a lot of other talking points today. Uruguay versus England. We'll talk about a lot tomorrow.
Yeah, so there'll be a post-match.
But I will say that it is a must-win for Uruguay. Otherwise, they're pretty much out. Because a draw is not good enough for either side, really. But because Uruguay got humped by Costa Rica, it means they'd have to then beat Italy and hope other results went their way. The Ox is out for England, but could return for their final game against Costa Rica. Luis Suarez, he is the key, isn't he?
Yeah, I know there was a lot of questions about whether or not he's going to be fit. So far as we're aware, he's fit. I'm still a little bit kind of... I don't know, there's a question mark over his head for me. I know he's been kind of declared fit, but I kind of feel like it might be fit as in the same essence that Diego Costa was fit for the Champions League final. Yeah. And he may well depart the pitch, within the kind of first half. But it's going to be... Obviously, it is. No, I was going to say it was going to be a must-win for both teams, which is kind of stating the obvious. But I think for me, England, if they can perform how they played before, they've got a very good chance. Uruguay are missing their captain through injury. I can't remember what his name is now. They're missing Lugano, thank you.
And Pereira at the back.
So I feel as if England have really got to exploit that. A lot's made of Uruguay's slow defence. I'm just wondering if their kind of backups in that area are any faster, and if they are, that might actually be a bad thing.
I think it'll be Cortez.
It might be. Or it could be Di Michaelis. Oh, wait, no, Di Michaelis is Argentine, Jack. Way! As bad as the BBC saying Jackson Martinez is Ecuadorian.
Let's get on to England very quickly. Do you know what's going to make this even worse, Jack? I think it was ITV.
Oh gosh.
The big talking point for England is Rooney at number 10. I've got something to say on this point because a lot of people are saying play Sterling out wide because he's a winger. Rooney's not a winger. My argument the whole time is no. Play someone else out on the wing because while Sterling can play on the left, you're then relying on us to get the ball to him more, where he's far more effective in the middle. Keep him in the middle. He was really good against Italy. Pirlo said it's one of the hardest games he's ever had as an Italian player, having to deal with Sterling. So if Pirlo's saying that, then surely keeping Sterling in his most effective position and a position which Wayne Rooney's not even comfortable with.
I was going to say, I saw a poll online that was kind of, who should start at the number 10, who should be the central player just off the forward for England. And it was like a 51 to 49% vote, I think, to Rooney. And then later on in the day, they did the same thing and it swung the other way to 51% Sterling. I feel like this is something that really divides the nation. So if you've got an opinion on this on Twitter or on YouTube, feel free to leave it down below. I kind of feel for me, like, Rooney will probably start in the centre, and I can actually see him being subbed off.
Maybe subbed off, bring Lallana on, put Sterling in the middle.
I honestly could see something like that happening, and I don't think it would be that controversial a decision. I think Rooney's got a lot to prove. I feel like he had a lot to prove before. Obviously, we've talked about Rooney. I feel me and you are both in agreement that we kind of like to see him either... For me, I'd like to see us play 4-4-2. I've got to be honest. I'd like to see us play two attackers, out-and-out attackers against... against Uruguay, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, can I... I'm going to drop a bombshell here, Jack.
Right.
We didn't talk about this pre-show, but we're going to give away our first prize of the tournament.
My word.
Right, so this is the competition. Right, Jack, I'm going to let you pick the prize. Hang on. I've got a selection of prizes. You know what the prizes are.
I'm trying to do it off memory. I do know what the prizes are.
Right. but you're gonna have to pick a number between. I'm gonna say the prizes are DVDs, right? So I've got 6 DVDs here that we're gonna give away.
They're great DVDs.
If you can predict the scores for all 3 games, you win the prize that Jack's about to predict. You have until the kickoff of the first game.
We will tweet it out as well.
Yeah, so on YouTube and on Twitter, you have until, shall we say, half time? Let's be really lenient. You have until half time in the Colombia Ivory Coast game.
Yeah.
Right?
3 scores.
To predict this, we want the 3 scores. You don't have to do goal scorers. We just want the 3 scores. Jack, I'm going to shuffle these up a bit.
Shuffling DVD cases. I never thought I'd hear that going into today's show.
You pick a number between 1 and 6, and that is the prize we're going to give away.
2.
All right. This is the one. Packaged up as well, so not even second hand. It is. It's great, by the way.
I'm bracing myself here for this.
It's Adrian Childs' Too Good Too Bad, the World Cup edition, Goals, Gaffes and Glory from 2010.
Oh, great DVD. Can we have a round of applause? If you're watching and just clap. You might be on the train going home from work listening to us. Give it a clap.
Just a quick terms and conditions. Please be from I hate to limit this, but it's to do with postage costs. Please be from the UK.
Or Ireland. Do we deliver to Ireland, or are we going to be one of those companies that's only available in the UK?
Until RTE Soccer give back our intro, we're not delivering to Ireland. So if you're from the UK, you are eligible. Feel free to take part if you're not, but you won't be eligible to win.
We'll give you a big pat on the back.
And this prize, and there'll be a rollover if no one gets it.
What, to 2 DVDs?
And then we'll do 2 DVDs next time we do this competition, which I don't know when it'll be. Maybe it'll be next week.
We might even do a few on Twitter in the meantime if someone doesn't get it right.
So that is the DVD available. It's a great DVD. I've never seen it, but I would still recommend it. It says on the back that he's the host of BBC Two's Match of the Day 2, but he's not anymore. So that's how old it is. But it's well worth it.
So should we just talk about the England game? Where do you see this one going? For me, I think England have enough quality. I expect to see us win.
Yep, I agree.
3-0.
I will go 3-1. I think Louis will get the first goal, and then we'll fight back. We have not got a quiz today, Jack.
We haven't, but the wonderful people of Twitter have been tweeting in their questions because I asked them to send in questions for Ben.
Right, so I'm doing the quiz.
Well, I thought that rather than you do the timed quiz, because I haven't got these questions pre-prepared, we do a penalty shootout of quiz questions. Okay, and this is for pride.
So 5 questions.
It's like, you're not going to see Jeremy Clarkson try and set a fastest lap in the recently priced car on Top Gear, so we're following that thing. This is just your thing.
So this is just to make me feel good or horrendous. Right, so have you got 5 questions ready?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, are you ready? Holland are you ready? Are you ready for this penalty shootout? Right, this is the first one. I'm lining up. Have you got the catching ability of a cat? So let's find out. Holland put 5 goals past Spain on Friday night, but who were the last team to put 5 past Spain before that? For a bonus 2 points, what was the score and who were the team?
It was Argentina, and it was 5-4.
I'm afraid it wasn't. It was Scotland winning 6-2.
No! Unbelievable. Okay, well, alright, you got me on that one.
Right. When was Scotland last at the FIFA World Cup?
Okay, I know this one. 1998.
Oh, he's got one. Give him a cheer.
They played Brazil in their opening match. I remember Ali McCoy scored at that World Cup.
Can you name 10 of the 13 teams who attended the first World Cup besides the host Uruguay?
Sure. Have you got them written down?
Yes.
Right. Brazil?
Yes.
England?
No.
Okay, I'll forget that one then.
We'll keep going.
West Germany?
No. I'll give you a clue. A lot of them are from
Argentina?
Yes. A lot of them are from... No.
Peru?
Yes.
Paraguay?
Yes. I feel like we're going to be going through every country in the world.
I'm not going to get it right. I'm having half a point.
We're going to give you half a point. I'll get the full answers were Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, Bolivia, Chile, France, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, Romania, the USA, and Yugoslavia.
Oh, and he said USA as well. Anyway, go on.
Right. In 2008, which Premier League player injured a leg muscle after yawning and stretching getting out of bed?
This is a guess, right? Was it Laurent Robert?
No, but I'm going to give you half a point because his name began with the letter L. It was Leroy Lita.
Oh, I know Robert had a really stupid injury plan for Portsmouth after he was at Newcastle. Anyway, go on. No, this is the last one.
Yes. And then we'll have one bonus question.
Oh, okay.
What Scandinavian team has never lost to Brazil?
Norway.
Correct.
Yes, I saw that somewhere yesterday. I don't know where I saw that. It was to do with... There was also a picture of some very attractive Norway hosts for their World Cup coverage.
Have you seen the Mexican one? She was nice.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Anyway, for the final question, this is a little in-joke for Ben.
Okay.
Will Shakira ever reply?
Yes. And people are wondering, why is PK being dropped and had such a bad tournament? I think we all know why. She's been playing away. Let's say that much.
Anyway, that's the quiz. I don't know if that's the right answer or not, so I can't give you the point.
Well,
so
thank you for the question.
You got 3 points out of 5. Thank you to all the viewers who submitted questions. We had Butte Mitchell, Joe Moon, Joe Citrone, Famous Star Stripes, and Adam Grant. So thank you for your questions, guys. Of course, if you're not ready, you can follow us on Twitter. Right, Ben, you've just had your quiz. You've been waiting for that. I know you were sat at home thinking, I'm never going to get to do the quiz. Well, we've just made that happen.
Thank
we're like
you.
the Make a Dream Foundation, except I don't know. Except we're not a charity, I guess.
Right. Well, let me get on with the social media stuff. You can follow us on Twitter at ForTheFans Show. We tweet all the time, so it's well worth listening to. Aside from that, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/ForTheFans Show. If you're not already subscribed on the YouTube, click the subscribe button. We may follow this up next year, so it's well worth checking out. Obviously, we're at ForTheFansShow.com. That's where you find all our links, specifically for iTunes. Whereas if you're listening to this on YouTube and you think iTunes would be a little bit easier, you can find us there. We're in the charts. We're all over the place. We're on the front page of the podcast.
And of course, if you are watching on iTunes and you enjoy what we do, take 2 minutes out of your day, go over onto our podcast page, give it a rating, give it a review, let us know what the good, the bad, the ugly. I just realised that's all just writing Ben answers all 3 of them. But anyway,
wow.
I'm sorry, man. It was just too easy. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. A little bit different with just 2 of us, but I think we made it work.
Yeah, it was great. So, thank you for listening.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow where we do have a guest.
Come on, England! Come on, England!
England!